Okay, our featured presentation is going to be by Nicholas Segura. He is a lead creative officer and owner of the Somos Agency, which specializes in Hispanic marketing. He's a local entrepreneur, runs a ethnic model agency, and he's been awarded the U.S. Small Business Administration Minority Small Business Champion Award. He's a self-taught photographer and videographer, and he's going to be presenting a Pecha Kucha, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, which is a specific type of slideshow that sounds kind of entertaining. I'm really excited to see what it is. So, Nicholas, I'm actually going to let you take it away, sir.
I was noticing just how, look at those beautiful smiles. If you guys can see what I'm seeing, there's just like pretty smiles looking at me, so that's really nice. My name is Nicholas Segura. I'm born and raised here in Kansas City. I'm 42, and I'm an entrepreneur, which means that I'm always just busy. I don't know, has anyone ever heard of a Pecha Kucha before? Pecha Kucha? Cool. All right, well, a Pecha Kucha was actually started in Japan. And what it is, Pecha Kucha stands for chit-chat in Japanese. And it's a presentation style in which 20 slides are shown for 20 seconds. And this format keeps presentations concise and fast-paced, and it powers multiple speaker events called Pecha Kucha Nights around the United States. Pecha Kucha was devised in February 2003 by Astrid Klein and Mark Ditham of Tokyo's Klein-Ditham Architecture as a way to attract people to Super Deluxe, their experimental event space, allowing young designers to meet each other, work, and exchange ideas. And honestly, you know, I thought of, when they asked me to speak, I was like, well, I'm just use a Pecha Kucha presentation because, number one, they're fast-paced and kind of spontaneous, and you have to know what you want to say right away. A lot of times when people are speaking, they will go on and on and on. You're like, all right, I'm going to sleep. But Pecha Kucha, these slides progress every 20 seconds, and you can't stop it. That's just they go. So you have to say exactly what you mean really quickly. A lot of teachers are challenging their students in college to do these days, and the reason why I think this architecture design team decided to do this was because architects, if you can imagine, can really go on and on and on about their designs and ideas, and you really have to just move kind of fast with this presentation style. So once I press start, it goes. So before I get started, I kind of just put up there that I'm a creative nerd, because that's kind of like just what I call myself. I'm a really creative person, I think, and I'm nerdy too, because I'm a PBS watching National Geographic geeked out dude, and so but I think that helps creativity a lot. And so this presentation really was a presentation I gave to the design industry a few years ago at the Nelson Art Gallery. And so I'm just going to press play. This is the practice of a creative nerd. And really what this is about is just about what it's like to be creative. A lot of people talk themselves out of being creative because they've been told that. But if you practice something just like algebra or Spanish, you can get better at it. And I think practice being creative is a practice. What being a creative nerd kind of means combining creativity and expressing your creativity with information that you gather. You're constantly gathering these two things, you mix them together, and you get fun, right? So, I mean, so the information comes from a variety of different sources. Creativity is a practice. I was looking at this young woman's shoes today earlier. I was like, those are creative shoes. This morning, I was cutting some paper, and I just tried turning my cutting board upside down and cutting that way just to try it new. I've never done it. Can I do it this way too? And I'm always practicing. Laughing. In the creative industry, you have to laugh. You have to laugh at yourself. You have to laugh at other people. You have to laugh at everything. It's just about being laughing and having fun, watching comedy. These things can be inspiring to inspire creativity. You know, I like this picture because I get to laugh at myself. I hate thinking, me too. Play. So I think yesterday when I was at the Kaufman Center, I was going down this glass elevator and everyone's standing in the elevator like this. And I'm kind of facing out the window and I'm looking at the entire crowd. I'm like, wait, just to be weird and playful, because it doesn't hurt. playing doesn't hurt, but playing sparks creativity, whether you're rolling around on the grass. Oh, dare to dance, dare to dance. Creativity, dare to dance, my friends. Dare to dance, dare. One time a girl told me we were doing tango, she's like, I can't do it. I'm like, if you say you can't do it, you can't. But if you try it, you will get better at it, just like the practice idea. And I will say that those who dance lead very different lives from those who don't. Clap if you agree with me on that. Dancers have a very interesting life compared to those people who do not dance. I don't quite understand non-dancers because I like to dance. It's just fun. And again, it's creativity. You get to create what you do. Do you guys know that paperclip exercise where you try to come up with what are the different ways you can use a paperclip? That is, again, an exercise in creativity. So you got to seek and create ways to be creative. Whether it's trying something you've never done before, like a 1,000-piece puzzle, I've never done that before, and it took me a long time, but I just tried it. Volunteer. When you volunteer for an organization, you kill 3 birds with 1 stone. You help the person that the organization is trying to help, you help the organization, and you help yourself. Because helping yourself is also really good and beneficial to yourself, to the organization, and ultimately that person that they're trying to help too. So that's a great opportunity for creativity. Appreciate creatively, write thank you notes. Or when you're posting on Facebook, you say happy birthday, don't write HB, Mary, happy birthday. That's not fun, that's not creative. Write something personal and interesting and introspective. Just try being creative with what you're writing and saying and doing. Write it upside down. Try new things, like explore new things, explore new places, try new flavors. I just learned, like within the last 2 months, that I like ginger. My whole life I haven't tried it. Or in the last 2 years, I like cottage cheese because I tried it again after my entire life of not liking it. But I tried it again, and that leads to cooking. How many of you guys cook? I love cooking, but cooking is experimental for me, and it's an opportunity to be creative again, because my girlfriend, she gets to be my guinea pig, and I create all kinds of ideas, and I'm like, all right, now eat this, and I kind of sit back and see what happens if she explodes or not. Question your elders. I've always been a person that had older friends than me, and I learned this saying that a wise man learns from mistakes, but a cheat learns from others. And so I have always asked older generations about their experiences and ask them, and they enhanced your life experiences. Be the devil's advocate. Why not? Why can't we do that? Why have we always done it this way? Try something new. If you think of it that way, what if we think of it the other way, just for kicks and grins, and see what will happen? But it's my mom taught me this, to be the devil's advocate. She's always asking me that other question. Nerding out. These are my 9 favorite letters: TED, NPR, PBS. And this is where I don't have a bachelor's degree. I'm just a high school educator. I went to college and things like that, but I never finished. But this is how I'm smart, because I geek out on this stuff, and I listen to these things, and I share it with so many other people. Find the beauty in others. When you look at people, everyone's beautiful. I'm looking at this beautiful crowd. You have to find the beauty in others, and it takes creativity to find it. Like those shoes over there, or like that necklace right there, or that hat. Look at that, that's cute. Be provocative. Everyone in Kansas City and around here, everyone's trying to be safe, especially in advertising. Everyone wants to make the perfect ad that doesn't offend anyone. Man, ladies and gentlemen, be provocative. Change things, move things, shift things, push things. Provoke a response. Like my teacher right here, I get a response to that. Explore vulnerability and intimacy. This is interesting because, number one, it leads to great sex. If you haven't done that with your partner in the last week, go home and do that this afternoon. Cancel plans. But explore the vulnerability and intimacy. That is some interesting, creative stuff to explore about yourself. And be fearless and fail. I like to push the people around me to be fearless. I love when Oprah asked, if I couldn't fail, what would I do? And just this morning, I was watching CBS Sunday Morning, I saw a great story about someone who was just fearless, and they accomplished something they didn't expect. So that's what he decides. That's how fast it goes. So I'll just leave that last thought with you. That's the final slide. It's not going to flip or anything like that. But it's a very fast-paced thing, and of course there's not a lot of words up there when it comes to the entire slideshow. But I definitely encourage you guys to try it out. There, maybe even here at Oasis, we could have Pecha Kucha night, where we have some of the speakers come and they're challenged to give 20 slides in 20 seconds. But it's really fun. That presentation is pretty spontaneous. Anyway, can I answer any questions or anything like that? I'm out of breath.
Anyone have any questions for Nicholas?
Giving my Bobby Brown on right here. Did you guys notice this? Oh, my shirt says, yeah. See, that's a good question. Ask people what their shirt says. I saw this the other night. Friday night, I saw a woman who looked just like you. Really. And she had on a t-shirt that was in the grocery store that said, I be killing it. And she was your age. And I was like, that's an interesting shirt. And I was like, can I take your picture? I took her picture and everything. Just because I was like, that's so interesting. I wouldn't expect you to do that, this woman, but she had this I be kicking it t-shirt on, baseball cap. She looked like she was crazy.
One quick announcement. There is a light blue Chevy out here that's got its trunk open. I don't know if that's your car or not, but if it is, we don't know if you want your trunk open or not. But... All right, Brian's got a question.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, so the guy who sold me this jacket, he had to convince me to buy it. I was like, I don't know if it fits right. But yeah, there is an inner zipper here. I don't know if it's necessarily like a very functional thing. It does actually work, but I've never actually used it because it's kind of weird. See how that's weird? It's not necessarily like it's called a clown piece. I did see Ira Glass last night. Yes, I did. Ira was awesome, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Is there a question behind that? Oh, yeah, Ira, I love him. I took my girlfriend and it was just like, you have to come see this. This guy's awesome. All right, well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Nice. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hey.
So how does someone who obviously said that they didn't get finish college, how does somebody get into the practice of having their own advertising agency?
I like JC saying he just loved his way through it. Honestly, practically everything I have done, I have just said, I'm going to do that, and then I go and do it. I don't necessarily know how I'm going to do that, or what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it. So I started a talent agency almost 10 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just saw a void in the market, and so I went and did it, and I started, and it's still running today. Hallmark's like one of our biggest clients. When the photographers got too expensive to photograph my models, and I'm like not making any money, I grabbed my business partner's camera, and I was like, I'm gonna go photograph this model. And I got through with that, I was like, oh wow, I can do this. And so I became a photographer, and I taught myself how to be a photographer and photo editing, and then build websites and publish. And then I took it from when the iPhone 3S came out with video, and I was like, I'm gonna take video. I'm gonna start, and then I'm gonna take it back to my computer, and I'm gonna make a movie, and then I'm gonna publish it onto the web. And I'm just gonna do it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I mean, and to me, it's like, just do it is a powerful saying. That's it. Everything has just been just doing it. Yes, sir.
When you talk about being fearless and willing to risk failure, can you think of a time when you did fail and kind of how you rolled with it or how you recovered from that failure?
I'm sure I fail all the time. I'm sure there's some meals that I've made that are like, hey, that wasn't a good one. But I don't I think that people look at failure negatively, and I think that when you fail, or you don't get necessarily what you wanted, for example, you actually learn other things. Maybe you try to go someplace and you end up over here, like, oh, okay, so that road didn't work. But you learned another road, though. You learned another path. You learned about a new ingredient. You learned about a new different tool or a little different function, editing, pressing buttons and just trying something new. I can't tell you how on an everyday practice of trying something new, rolling around in the grass, walking through the park barefoot. Just when you're doing something normal, stop and say, I'm gonna try something new and just take off my shoes instead.
So your ad agency, Somos, positions itself as a Hispanic-centered, Hispanic-directed firm. At the same time, though, like just from your presentation, you seem to be name-dropping a lot of NPRs, PBSs, a lot of white spaces. And it's not only that you're fluent in English, I think you're conversant with both those cultures, but how do you navigate those two spaces, Hispanic and white?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when it comes to like those things like NPR, PBS, TED, TED. One of the things that I'm really pushing within when I talk about those things is for more diverse audiences to watch those things, more diverse audiences to get involved in those things. You know, sometimes when I go down to First Fridays, I'm like, where's the diversity? Or when I go to a TED event, maybe I want more diversity or something like that. But recently at the last TED event that happened at the Kaufman Center, I spoke to Mike Lund, who's the person who puts that together. I was like, Mike, that was a great event. And I saw a lot of diversity. My mom even noted the diversity of the audience. I said, but we need to have more watch parties in more diverse communities that may not know about this. We need to have watch parties in Kansas City, Kansas, in the hood, you know, in the streets. He's like, that's a great idea. You're in charge of that. So I'm going to start working with him. And I'm like, you know, that's cool to me because I want that. I want at Kansas City, Kansas Community College to have a TED watch party because those people don't know about TED, but you teach one person about TED today, next year it's 10, and the next year it's 100. So it's just about getting that ball rolling and spreading the word into maybe communities that don't necessarily have it. Because once you learn about it, then you get involved in it. Cool.
Wait, hold on, I have one more for you. Sorry, it's me. As a fellow entrepreneur, I get asked a lot. People want to know. They're like, oh, I could never do that. So I'm wondering from you, like, what is your advice to new potential entrepreneurs or people considering going out on their own and following, you know, their gut with certain things?
Be fearless. Just do it with having no fear. Practice not having fear. Because most entrepreneurs, most businesses, most events, they will fail. A lot of that happens a lot. It's very common in entrepreneurialism. But but I think that if you go into things afraid of doing things, fearful or something like that, you will find that pothole, and it will reinforce that fear. If you go into things confidently and believing in yourself, that's another practice that I do all the time. Just being completely confident. When I mentor high school students about giving presentations, I tell them I want them to be supremely confident. Supremely confident. Not just confident, but supremely confident. That's a different person than a person's like practicing confidence. You have to be supremely confident about what you're doing and what you're saying. And that will change the way people listen to you. That will change the way you present. That will change the way you stand. That will change the way you dress. It changes your mind. So I would just go into entrepreneurialism fearlessly. Because if you fail, so what? All right, guys. You guys have a good Sunday.